What's up, you guys? It's Susie from HeyGrillHey.com, and today we are smoking one of my most favorites and probably our family's most smoked cut of beef when we're cooking at home, the humble yet beautiful tri-tip. We're gonna reverse sear this bad boy, slice it up, and have a yummy, 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 yummy steak dinner. Let's do it. Now, I know a lot of you guys do not live on the western coast of the United States, and tri-tip might not be available in your area, but is becoming so much more popular. And I think because a lot of people like you and I, the backyard barbecue people, are requesting the tri-tip from our butcher stores, they're becoming more accessible across the United States, which is a fantastic thing. This cut supposedly originated in California, the Santa Maria area. It is a kind of triangle shaped roast that comes from the lower part of the sirloin. It is very well marbled. It's incredibly delicious, and it cooks like a roast, yet eats like an absolutely tender and delicious $1 million steak. And it's really easy to prepare. So we've got this bad boy. They're typically 2 to 3 pounds a piece, and depending on where you get it from, it'll either have the fat cap removed or it won't. If you have the fat cap on there and it's a nice fatty tri-tip, maybe you should look up my recipe for tri-tip smoked like a brisket. That is my favorite way to use tri-tips that still have that fat cap on the top. For me, and for most of you that are buying these at the grocery store, the fat cap will already be mostly removed, but you can grab a little fillet knife and kind of go to town just cleaning up any excess pockets of fat or silver skin on your roast. That is looking pretty good to me. Now all we really need is a simple seasoning. The tri-tip tastes so delicious. You don't want anything that's really overpowering here. I think a simple salt and pepper works beautifully. Of course, I'm gonna be using my beef rub. This is available in my store. I mean, personally, I believe it's like the best beef seasoning ever. It's a great salt and pepper base, and it works well with a ton of stuff, but it's especially delicious on tri-tip. All right, that looks awesome to me. Now this is really, like I said, a roast that eats like a steak, but because it's thicker and it will actually thicken as it tightens on the cooker, we're gonna cook this low and slow to begin with. We're gonna start this at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. I love a mix of oak and cherry for tri-tip. I think it adds beautiful color as well as a nice, really robust smoke flavor. We're gonna run this at 225 until the internal temperature reaches between 115 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit. These typically take about an hour to an hour and a half. So I would start checking at the hour mark, and then we'll finish with a nice, hot, crispy cast iron skillet sear. All right. Tri-tip has been on for just over an hour, and we're exactly the temperature we want to be. I will show you on my trusty thermometer. We're looking for between 115 and 120. Oh, look at that. Not only is the temperature exactly where we want it, but the color on this smoked tri-tip is ridiculous. When I talked about the oak and cherry as my favorite combination for smoking, you can really see that come through in the color of this tri-tip. That bright mahogany red brown color, that's from the cherry, and it's absolutely beautiful. We're gonna let the tri-tip hang out for a minute. Over here in a 12-inch cast iron skillet over medium heat, I'm melting 3 tablespoons of butter. I've also got 3 cloves of lightly smashed garlic and a sprig of fresh rosemary. And we are going to butter baste and sear the outside of our smoked tri-tip. Bring it up to temperature for those last 5 to 10 degrees until we hit 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's gonna taste so good, and it's gonna smell so good, and it's gonna be covered in yummy butter, and it's gonna be smoky, and everything is gonna be good in the whole world. Okay. Just taking a moment of silence for the sound of this. Amazing. Okay, our tri-tip friend is going to head over to our serving platter, and I'm gonna let this rest. This is a really big roast, and I do want the carryover cooking to finish cooking this all the way through to 135 degrees. We're gonna leave this happy butter over here, and then I'm gonna show you guys the perfect way to slice a tri-tip. We're gonna remove our delightfully delicious aromatics that have been resting on top of the tri-tip. We're setting them aside so we can actually kind of serve it all together at the end. But we gotta get into slicing this tri-tip because this is a place where most first-time tri-tippers go astray. When we cut against the grain, it means cutting in opposition to those long strands, so we get nice short muscle fibers that are really tender and easier to chew. But sometimes after you cook your meat, it can be really difficult to see where the grain is. So I actually like to pick up my tri-tip and bend it a little bit. And when you do that, you can see where it splits, and it splits along these grain lines. So that's an indicator to me of where the grain is. On the skinny end, the grain runs this direction. So we're actually gonna slice this way. And then when we get to the top, if we lift it up again, we can see the grain is now running this way. So if we kept slicing in the same direction, we'd run into a problem. We'd be slicing with those long strands. So we're gonna turn our knife at that point and cut at a 90-degree angle to where we were previously cutting and have some nice short muscle strands with some beautiful slices of tri-tip. Oh, look at this. Okay, I know I just started slicing, but it was so juicy. You can see that pink smoke ring all the way around. And what we're not seeing is stripes. You don't want to see stripes in your tri-tip. If you see stripes, you're going the wrong direction. We want little, almost like you're looking into a kaleidoscope, and there's all those little pieces speckled through the end of a kaleidoscope. It's exactly what we're looking for. All right, we've got ourselves about up to the middle of the roast here, where the grain begins to change. And I'm just gonna turn my tri-tip and start slicing the opposite direction. Now, one thing that I really love the most is to take my sliced tri-tip and actually arrange it back in the skillet that it was fried in. All of this flavor is sitting here in the skillet, and when you pick up a piece of tri-tip, you get a little bit of that garlicky rosemary butter on the bottom of each bite. Additionally, it's nice and warm in there, and so that gives our tri-tip an opportunity to stay warm and our guests the ability to eat some nice warm steak. I mean, okay, fine. I will try some. Look at this beautiful, medium rare, delightful smoke ring. I can already tell you the flavors on the outside from the butter and the rosemary and garlic are gonna take this to a place that I will be very happy about. It's so tender. This is a big cut of meat, 2 to 3 pounds. It's perfect for a family gathering. And to have a piece of meat that's substantial in size that still manages to be this tender and have such a distinct, you know, traditional steak, upscale flavor profile is absolutely phenomenal. No wonder it's such a big deal for us here in the western portion of the United States. I hope it continues to spread all over the place. The only way that's gonna happen is if you guys tell your butchers that you wanna eat it. So the next time you have an opportunity, grab a tri-tip, give it a quick smoke at home, cook it to a beautiful medium rare with a butter baste on the outside, and I guarantee you, you will feel like a backyard barbecue hero. And I can't wait to cheer you on in becoming so. We'll see you guys next time.